Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that allow us to thrive in change. We can thrive in the change we wanted. We can thrive in the change that we didn't see coming. I'm here to tell you that you can thrive no matter what kind of change you're going through. Now, that's no guarantee that things are going to be flawless and awesome, but I can guarantee you that you can go through change and come out on the other side a better, more mature, more equipped person. And that's what thriving is all about. So, welcome to our broadcast tonight. I'm delighted to share this evening with you. Woo-hoo! So, we are going to be focusing on the Thrive principle, hashtag respect the now. Hashtag respect the now. It is so important to learn how to embrace this principle when it's appropriate. Sometimes we spend too much time embracing the now. That's for another night. Sometimes we get attached to now and refuse to let go. And then it becomes yesterday, which is, I guess, technically not respecting the now, right? But in any event, tonight we're going to be focusing on how to apply that Thrive principle to our lives in a way that allows us to move forward in a productive way. And welcome. So if this is your first time on Sunday Night Live, please drop your name, drop a hello. And even if it's not your first time, say hi. Let us know you're here in the comments. Make sure you give StreamYard permission to use your Facebook name so that we know who you are. We know who's watching. And also, if this is your first time, let us know where you're from. And Kelly, hi, it's good to see you. I see a couple of other people popping on. If you want, you can hit the likes, hit those hearts, hit the laugh emojis, anything that lets us know as a community that you're leaning in, that you're here to learn more about how to thrive and change. Margaret, hi, I'm glad you're here and welcome. Tonight, we are going to be talking about the Thrive principle, hashtag respect the now. And before we get too much into it, I want to share my favorite coffee in the world, which is thumbroastcoffee.com. They sponsor Sunday Night Live and Thrive and Change, which we appreciate so very much. And you get to reap some of the reward because they will give you 15% off of your online order when you go to thumbroastcoffee.com and use the discount code THRIVE, THRIVE, like we do here, THRIVE. You'll get 15% off of the best coffee ever. And I'll tell you what, it's easy to respect the now when it's early in the morning and you've got a cup of delicious coffee and you're spending a little quiet time just focusing your thoughts, and it's a beautiful thing. So I encourage it. Make sure you go to thumbroastcoffee.com, use the coupon code THRIVE, and you will get the best coffee ever. I know it's my favorite, and I think you'll like it too. All right, so with that, respect the now, there's our reminder, and we're going to get started. Hi, Carol, it's good to see you. All right, so a friend of ours relayed a story, a family friend. Hi, Mary. A friend of ours relayed a story, his mother dealing with dementia. And this may sound familiar to some of you if you've walked this journey. But he was at home and got a phone call from his mom. And his mom says, I'm out here. I went grocery shopping, and she kind of giggled. I think I'm a little lost. I think I'm a little lost. And so her son said, well, where did you go grocery shopping? And so she sort of told him, and he goes, well, where are you now? And she says, I don't know, but I need to get home. And he said, well, I can't tell you how to get home if you can't tell me where you are. And she didn't know where she was. And so he started asking her questions. Okay, can you see a street nearby? Is there a street sign? Is there a store? Do you see a store? Is there maybe a road sign or maybe the expressway? What do you see? Asking her for all these landmarks because she wanted to go home And she wanted her son to tell her how, but he could not help her because she did not know where she was. And this is the thing about change. Change can really discombobulate us. We might be trucking along. We feel like we know where we're at, right? We know what's going on. Our life is a known quantity. Things are happening the way we expected them to. And every day is the same. We're good. We're just going along. And then change comes out of nowhere, unexpected change. And it disorients us. And we get spun around because things don't look the way they used to look. It's confusing. And so I entitled tonight's lesson, Where Are You? I could have done it in text lingo, Where You At? But I decided to go with the little more formal and professional sounding, Where Are You? But that's the question that we need to ask ourselves on a regular basis. Where are you? Where am I? Where am I? Because the truth of it is, if we don't know where we are, we cannot plot a course to get where we want to be. Does that make sense? If we don't know where we are, Google Maps requires 2 coordinates. Google Maps wants to know, what's your location? Where are you at? And then the next thing it wants to know is, where are you going? But if we don't get a good understanding of where we are at when we are plotting our course, especially after we've been disrupted by an unexpected change, we are going to have trouble getting where we think we want to go. Or actually, we will have trouble getting where we know we want to go. But because we don't have a good understanding of where we are at, we're not going to be able to successfully get there. Does that make sense? All right, so before we move on, Carol's popping in, and happy to see you, Carol, and connecting back with Margaret, who, congratulations, Margaret. Margaret has a doctor in the family, Dr. Rebecca Sturgis. So Margaret's daughter just graduated from medical school. Congratulations. That is something to be proud of. And I'm so thankful for energetic, highly motivated young doctors who are stepping in so that they can, in her case, her daughter is going to be a pediatrician. So going to be taking care of our kids and our grandkids. It's a beautiful thing. So that's awesome. Kelly says, dementia scares me so much. Kelly, it's not a fun thought to consider, but thankfully we don't have to consider it right now. It's not the kind of thing that we can predict. And so, yeah, knowing that it's out there, it can be disconcerting, but I'll tell you what, knowing where we're at right now and what we can do to grow, to engage in our life, helps so much to keep some of those unknowns at bay, because we can't control everything, but we can control our path as much as we know we can control. Let's do that next thing. And none of us know what tomorrow holds, but that's another Sunday Night Live. I'll have to think about that one. That whole idea of the unknown. I like it. So thank you for giving me a good idea, Kelly. All right, so let's talk about this idea of knowing where we are, that hashtag respect the now, Thrive principle, that I don't spend a lot of time talking about here, but it is so incredibly important. So I was thinking about it. There's a couple of reasons why we might feel lost sometimes. We might feel like we're floating. Maybe we're untethered. We feel just confused. Nothing looks familiar anymore. I don't know what's going on. I'm used to my days being the same. COVID threw a lot of people for a loop. COVID threw the world for a loop. Pandemic has a way of doing that. And boy, there was so much rapid change so fast that I know I found myself wondering, I don't even know who I am anymore. It's been weeks since I changed out of my yoga pants. This isn't who I am. What's going on? I don't even look like myself. I'm not dressing like myself. I don't go to the same places. Did you guys experience any of that feeling of not even recognizing where you were at? because it just was so different. You weren't alone. I also felt a little lost. I didn't know exactly where I was or what I was doing. It's okay. It's normal, but it's also really important to respect the now. When we have been thrown off kilter because of an unexpected change, we can respect the now by doing a couple of things. And this is going to be so helpful. When you have been thrown off by unexpected change, here's a couple of rules of thumb that you can go by so that you can assess, where am I at? Exactly what's going on here. And the first one is this: when an unexpected change comes into our lives, it is vitally important that we not feel compelled to make fast decisions about long-reaching things. When we're feeling lost because we don't know what hit us, something came out of nowhere. Maybe it was a death. Maybe it was a relationship that ended without us knowing. Maybe it was a job. Maybe we were fired. I was fired once. I felt lost for weeks after. I couldn't conceive it. Like, this isn't who I am. I don't get fired from jobs, right? I was lost. I didn't recognize myself. So it's really important when we are hit with unexpected change to give ourselves permission to slow down. You don't have to race to some unknown destination. Slow down. Don't stop, but don't run. Slow down. Give yourself permission to take a deep breath, look around and get your bearings. How do I feel? What do I need? Ask yourself these questions. Where am I at? How do I feel? This huge change came my way. I just lost my job. How do I feel? I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm shocked. I'm ashamed. I'm disappointed. These were all the emotions that I was processing when I got fired from my job. And then I also felt, and this is important, I also felt relieved, exhilarated, validated in some strange way, because I knew that I was not doing a good job. And so to have that confirmed was, in a way, strangely validating. I can't describe it any other way. Unexpected feelings. But when you are lost, confused, discombobulated, you don't know where you are, just like that person who was lost, didn't know where they were at, called her son and said, okay, help me. He started asking her questions. Talk to a counselor, talk to a coach, talk to a trusted friend, somebody that can ask you some questions to help you figure out, where am I at? That's so important. Where am I at? How do I feel? What do I need? How do I feel? What do I need? And what is my next step? What's the next thing I need to do right now to get myself centered and oriented again? Because if you start, and that doesn't necessarily have to take weeks or months, but it's an important question to ask yourself. When we are using that principle, applying that principle, respect the now, what we're really doing is honoring ourselves. We are honoring where we are at right now. I've been thrown off by an unexpected change. I deserve to get my bearings so that I know who I am and where I'm at and what I'm feeling. And a great word for it, processing that unexpected change. So important. Hashtag respect the now. Where am I at right now? Not where was I 2 months ago, and not where do I wish I were, but where am I at right this minute? Being real in that moment, being present with yourself is powerful. And it's helpful, because when you know where you're at, you can start to get clarity about the next thing you need to do and what you need. But if you never take the deep breath, if you just, all right, I'll use an example. I have a boo-boo on my finger, and it really has been bothering me. And so my solution to the boo-boo on my finger was to put a Band-Aid on it. You guys, I've had a lot of health struggles lately. I'm using them in the Sunday Night Live. So at least you're learning from my health issues. But this boo-boo on my finger, I put a Band-Aid on it. This is the problem. It still hurt even with the Band-Aid on it. And then you know what happened? It kind of started to heal over, but it wasn't all better inside. And so now it's swollen up and it's inflamed. And the nurses who are watching Sunday Night Live are saying to themselves, oh, Shannon, that could be an infection. Yes, it probably is. And I'm going to have to call the doctor tomorrow because it's not going away, because I closed it up too quick. I let it heal up too quick and it wasn't really fully healed. And so if we're not careful, we rush through those initial days, minutes sometimes, but days, weeks, where an unexpected change comes at us and we rush through them thinking, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to put on a smiley face. And you know what? I'm all for being positive, but I am even more for respecting the now, being realistic. This is where I'm at right now, and this is what I need. I love positivity, and I believe that there's always positivity. For every negative, there's a positive. I 100% believe it. But when we only think about just rushing through when we're lost from having been hit with an unexpected change, we get more and more lost. We get more and more lost. So when you are hit with an unexpected change and you're lost, I want you to take a breather and look for some signs. How are you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you need to do next? Who do you need to help you? Respect the now. This is where I'm at. I didn't want to be here, but I'm here. So what next? When you know where you are and you're being honest with yourself about it, you'll know what kind of help you need, what kind of resources you need, because you deserve to get help if you need help. You don't have to go through all of that alone. You do not have to go through that alone. So hashtag respect the now. What I'm talking about is when you are swirling from unexpected change, it is okay. In fact, it is necessary for you to take a breather and take an assessment, take inventory. Where am I at? What do I need? How do I feel? What do I need to do next? Give yourself permission to ask yourself those questions and look around. Yeah, Shannon, you haven't washed clothes in a long time. Looks like you might not have showered either. Respect the now. What do you got to do? What do you got to do when you recognize that you're in a place that you're stuck, or you're in a place where you are without, what's the word I want to use? Where you feel like you've been upended. You don't have roots anymore. You lost a job that you had for a really long time. Acknowledge exactly where you're at, and it will allow you, because you know where you are, it'll allow you to have a path to get back where you want to be. It will allow you to chart your course to get where you need to be. But if you don't know where you're at, you can't get there. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Corey says hi. Carol says, we did learn a lot though. So even though we went through so much change, I think we grew. Talking about the pandemic. Oh, absolutely. For every dark night, there's a bright light. We've taken away a lot. It's a lot easier to look back on the lessons now than to see them right when we're in the midst of them. But boy, there were some days when we were in the midst of a bunch of hard stuff. And if we wanted to be healthy, if we wanted to be able to thrive in the midst of that, so important to ask ourselves the question, what do I need to do next? What is it? Where am I, so that I know what I need to do next? That's actually the better way to put it. We have to know where we're at before we can know what to do next. Kelly says, I'm a routine person. I don't do well with change. Well, that is one way to look at it. We love routines. Some people love routines more than others, and it is okay. Those steady people, the steady people who don't love change, sometimes are the ones who need to just give themselves permission. And Kelly, if you get blindsided by a change, and we all do at some point, if you get blindsided by a change, give yourself permission to take a deep breath and say, okay, where am I at? Where am I at? I'm alive. I made it. What have I got to work with? this is the beautiful thing. When unexpected change comes our way, we can get very, I don't want to say distracted. We can get very riveted on the negative aspects of what's going on. And that's valid. And we have to acknowledge that. That's real. Just like some people are the positive Pollies and they don't want to look at the whole picture. They just want to pretend everything's all good and it's sunny and we're just going to forge ahead. There are other people whose tendency is to hone in on the negative and the things that are hurting them and that are not what they wanted. The unpleasant aspects of it, which are absolutely valid. Both of those things are true, right? So even though we don't maybe love change, Kelly, I know that you are growing by leaps and bounds. Just your leaning into Sunday Night Live has demonstrated so much growth, and I applaud you. But I know you're also taking other steps in your life that are actually changes. So there is some change that you're good with. So you like some change. So there's that aspect. For every negative change that you don't like, there's also a positive change that will have a good result to it. But we won't know either of those things if we don't give ourselves permission to just really look at around us and say, okay, where am I at exactly? I'm going to respect the now. This is where I'm at. Carol says it was rough to learn all the technology to add church online when so many did not feel safe to come. Yeah, so where are we at right now? Carol, I'm thinking about the conversations that you must have had as a leadership team at your church when you were trying to figure out, okay, so we've got a congregation of people who are used to meeting face to face, and this is an urgent time where we need each other. And so you said, we've got to respect the now. We've got to respect the now. We aren't able to meet face to face. We do want to continue to serve people in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of this unwanted change. So since we know those two things are true, what do we have at our disposal? What are our resources? Another great question when we're applying that principle to respect the now. What are the resources that I have available to me? What are the resources I have available to me? The people that are here to support me, the technology that could potentially help, right? So you, in the midst of unwanted change, respected the now. This is what it is. We wish it were different and it's not, but we are not going to sit and do nothing. What do we have to work with to get to where we know we need to go? You took assessment of your situation. You didn't pretend it was going to go away tomorrow. You respected the now. Kelly says the word processing is a perfect word to use to describe what to do. Yes, process those changes. Allow yourself to respect exactly where you're at. Observe it. And when you know where you're at, you've got your bearings. Now you can say, what do I need to do next? That's exactly the path that keeps us from getting stuck. All right. There's another kind of change, and we've only got a few minutes to talk about it. So we've got the unexpected change that can sometimes leave us feeling lost. And there's another kind of, I don't want to say it's change even, but it absolutely is helped by applying the principle to respect the now. And this is what it is. One reason we feel lost can be because of an unexpected change that came our way. Another reason that we can feel lost is because we have an unexpected outcome. Have you ever looked at yourself in the midst of a situation and thought, how did I get here? How did it get this bad? How did things go downhill so fast? Have you ever just felt like you woke up one morning and realized, oh my gosh, it's all gone to pot. What happened? The unexpected outcome. Oh, Corey says this conversation reminds me of the saying around, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Yeah, respect the now. It happened. What's next, right? Corey, I love that too. And I hadn't thought of that in a long time. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. I love it. Thank you. So Unexpected change, that's one thing. But what if we've got an outcome that we didn't expect? So I was on a trip with a bunch of other kids, teenagers. We were, 18, 19 years old, heading to a big conference in Indiana. And we were having a grand time. We had a caravan, a few different cars of us all strung together. A couple adults, older, much older people, but having a grand time. And so we're just cruising down the highway, making great time to get to our destination I want to say it was somewhere around Hammond, Indiana is where we were heading. And all of a sudden, somebody in our car says to the driver, "Hey, where are we?" And the driver goes, What? They said, where are we? Because I think I just saw a sign that said we're in Illinois." And he goes, "What?" So this was back in ancient times before we had mobile phones and satellite maps. So we had to pull over at a rest stop and pull out the map. And sure enough, you guys, we had an unexpected outcome. We thought we were on the road that was taking us to Indiana, and we actually missed a turn and we're on the road going to Illinois. We were lost. Respect to the now. It would have done us no good to say to ourselves, "Yes, but we were making great time. Let's just get back on that road and keep on trucking." Am I right? But we do that sometimes when we realize where we're at in our life and we tell ourselves, "I'm just, you know what? I'm making great time. I'm just going to keep doing this for a while." Respect the now tells us, stop for a minute. Stop. Maybe that career path you're on that is making you miserable, but you're making great progress. Maybe it's not exactly progress. Maybe you got exactly to where you thought you were going, but it wasn't anything like you thought it would be. I'm here to tell you that it's okay if you have an unexpected outcome, but you're not going to know to quit making it worse if you don't take a step back and ask yourself some really valid questions. Where am I right now? Is this where I wanted to be? Is this where I need to be? Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? What do I need to do differently? If we do not respect the now and ask ourselves those questions regularly, we can make great time on the wrong highway and we can be well into Illinois before we find out that we really should have been over here in Indiana. It wasn't what we thought. We were making great time, having a good time doing it, but we needed to stop. When we got that inkling, something might not be right, it's time to stop. If you're feeling that nagging feeling that says, I don't know if I'm on the right track. I don't know if that's the job for me. I don't know if this relationship is good. Stop. Be present. Respect the now. Allow yourself to look for some of the signs. Are you healthy? Are you honoring the situation? Are you being a person of honor? Are you acting in alignment with your values? Great questions when we find ourselves with an unexpected outcome. The truth of it is this: we did not accidentally arrive in Illinois. We were on a road that took us there. Okay? You are not accidentally in the midst of this awful situation that you find yourself in. You didn't get there by accident. Respect the now. You got there one step at a time. We got to Illinois 1 mile marker after another mile marker after another one. And because we weren't paying attention, we were far from where we intended to be. But the solution wasn't to pretend that we were in Indiana. The solution was to recognize, okay, we're in Illinois, and this is the highway we're on, and this is going to be the shortest path to get us back on track to that destination that we knew we wanted. Respect the now allows you to change your course when you are not heading in the direction that you know you want to go. Stopping, asking yourself some questions. Where am I at right this minute? Am I on the right track? Do I want to continue this way, or do I need to pivot? Do I need to find another path? I want to go to Indiana. 2 really important times to ask ourselves the question, where am I at? And where are you at? Respect the now is the principle that allows us to not just know where we are, but it allows us to set our sights on where we want to go. All right, so let's see. Kelly says, without the guidance I needed after my divorce, I was flying by the seat of my pants, and it took me 10 years to find myself. A 10-year journey of discovering, where am I at? I'm so grateful that you found it. I am so grateful, Kelly, that you found that place. This is where I'm at. This is what I need. This is what I need to do next. Beautiful stuff. Anybody else, would you like to share your thoughts about this idea of acknowledging this is where I'm at? Not shaming ourselves for being here, because it doesn't help. You should have known better than to miss your turn and take the highway to Chicago. Did not help us one bit. Didn't fix anything. What we needed to do was stop, take a look at that map. Where am I at? Look at the signs. Once we know where we are, we can start plotting our course to go to that place that we know we want to be. So that's it, you guys. I'm so thrilled to have been able to share with you something that has been on my mind for the last few days. Actually, where am I at? Where am I? Am I doing what I want to do? Do I need to make some changes? Am I feeling good? Am I adding value? Am I aligned with my principles? Am I heading in the direction of my goals? Respect the now allows me to do all of that, and it'll help you too. So with that, my friends, I love you. I am so honored that you tuned in. I cannot wait to hear how your journey's going, what maybe adjustments you make after you take a few moments to respect the now. And if you wanted to post those, you can post them here in the comments. You can post them on my Thrive and Change page. And if you wanted to use hashtag respect the now, I'll be able to find it, and I'll be able to spot right away how you are adjusting based on your meditation, your reflection on where you're at, and is it where you want to be? And if not, no matter what the reason, it's not too late to change course. All right, I love you. Mwah. Corey says this, all these questions are why I continue with coaching. Yeah, the questions. It's all about the questions. And when we have somebody, Corey, when we have somebody who their only mission, their only job is to hold us accountable to the promises we've made to ourselves, and they aren't blinded by trying to protect us from harm or convince us to do it their way because it makes them happy. People who love us, they are not neutral. And that's good. I never wanted my mom to be neutral. I wanted her to see me and love me no matter what. I wanted her to think I was the best, you fill in the blank, that there could possibly be. But if I was going to get better, I couldn't have my mom coaching me. I needed a person who could show me my blind spots and help me to really respect the now. Yeah, you might not have noticed it, Shannon, but you're looking kind of rough. You have not been taking care of yourself. What's that about? Like, wow, those kind of questions are powerful. So awesome. And Carol says, thankful for the leadership classes on Saturday mornings. Yeah, it's a great place for us to kind of take stock, isn't it? Kept us all on track to move forward during the pandemic. Yes, me included. We all grew and looked at where we were and then made decisions to be better individuals. And rock stars are coming out of Livestream Leadership. I'm not going to lie. You guys are setting the world on fire. This pandemic did not stop you or slow you down. It actually energized you. But it's because none of you got stuck. those of you who are moving forward, those of you who hung with us during the pandemic in Sunday Night Live or as part of Livestream Leadership, or even some of my individual coaching clients, they're not stuck and lost because they allowed themselves to take time to assess, this is where I'm at, and this is what I need to do to make sure that I can continue to serve and grow and accomplish my mission. It's just an honor to be able to guide people like that. And Carol, thank you for sharing your story about it. All right, with that, you guys, I'm going to go. I do love you. I already said goodbye and kissed you all. Mwah. Goodbye. Have a good night. I love you. Take care, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.